Hey everybody. I know it's been a while. It's been way too long actually. Um, I know my hair's a bit of a mess, but ignore that. I just got out of the shower a little bit ago. Um, so stuff has happened. I am a little further along than from the last video, and basically, you can hear my printer going in the background. Basically what I did was I printed off, I got 3 new rolls of filament. I printed off the majority of the body and backpack. I mean, it's all hollow. There's no limbs or anything attached. I printed out all the green, the orange, and then I printed out all the little TPU gray parts. The parts that needed to be TPU. And yeah, I've gone pretty far along with this project. I'm still currently working on it. I actually just picked back up on working on it. I've been kind of down in the dumps lately. Depression, anxiety, all that stuff, really. And a lot of stuff happened. I had a birthday party that I had to go to for a cousin of mine, or a family friend, for those of you who don't know that the term cousin just is a widespread term. Anyway, so yeah, a lot's happened in the past month, and it's been chaotic a lot here at home. But as of right now, I am picking up where I left off. Just finished printing off the biceps of the project, and now I'm working on, I believe this is the front bumper that I'm working on right now. It's this whole front bumper section that I'm working on right here. Mainly just these 2 parts, and then the little tank extension pieces behind that. And this is my old prototype. So yeah. And one thing to note, when looking at getting filament, make sure you look at what kind of TPU you're getting. There are 2 different types of TPU, soft TPU and rigid TPU. I did not, regular TPU is a soft rubbery plastic. I did not realize this until, I realized how soft it was until I tested it, which is why I have this piece here. This is just a little test print piece. And it is this soft rubbery material. When it's thick enough, it's hard, but it's like this flexible rubbery material that is basically unbreakable. So I would recommend, if you're going to build something entirely out of TPU, I would recommend finding something more rigid, because regular TPU is just not going to cut it unless you do 100% infill. Basically, with thin parts like this, you don't want to use the softer TPU. You want to use more rigid TPU. The best source I found to find 3D filament without having to go on a third-party website, Amazon.com has all sorts of different types of filaments, all different brands, all different colors and materials. I would highly recommend checking out Amazon. Make sure you have Prime membership. Make sure you have a Prime membership, because that way you get same-day delivery or overnight shipping, and that way you don't have to wait a whole bunch of time. So basically, what I'm trying to get at here is, if you're going to use TPU, make sure you're using the right type of TPU. Don't use the regular flexible stuff for thin stuff, like thin prints. If you're gonna use, if it's a thicker print, like if it's a thick wall print, go ahead and use the soft stuff. It's not gonna harm anything. Just note it might be a little squishy. But if you're gonna print something really thin, with thin walls, I would recommend getting more rigid material, like a rigid type of TPU, or even if you can't find a rigid type of TPU, plastic, I would recommend PETG plastic. PETG in certain brands is much stronger and much sturdier than most plastics, and if you make the walls thick enough, it won't break. It can't break. It won't shatter. It won't break. It is somewhat pliable and flexible, but it is a very rigid material. I would not recommend doing it with anything other than a solid piece. If you use it for anything more than anything small, like small little meticulous parts, like joints and stuff, like little joints, hinges and stuff, I would not recommend using anything other than TPU. And then for bigger chunks, like bigger parts, that's what I would recommend the PETG for. Or you could use standard PLA. It doesn't matter, as long as you find a hard enough, tough enough material that's going to last against the test of time. Whatever material works for you. I mean, there's really no sugarcoating it. I found PETG works for me just fine. It prints at a higher temperature than PLA and TPU, but yeah. And that's the other thing too. Do your research before you go in and buy this stuff, because I had no idea that TPU melted at a much lower temperature than PLA, and it surprised me. It surprised and shocked me to the point where I was worried. I hadn't messed with this material at all. I had no idea that it was going to be a lower temperature. And I do mean low temperature. I mean, this stuff melts at like 160, 180 degrees Celsius. And I say Celsius, not Fahrenheit. But yeah, I mean, really just take into account, do your research, and you shouldn't have these problems. I'm not really particular, like, I'm not really looking to share much information. The only information I'm sharing is my personal experience with this stuff. I'm not really sharing, like, because with 3D printing, there's no definitive material or definitive like thing to look forward to. It's all about trial and error at first. You try stuff, you figure it out on your own. It's really about learning with a hands-on experience. There's really no way to sugarcoat it or manipulate it in any way. Really, you just have to figure out what works for you and go from there. And my computer just turned off. Sorry, sometimes my computer will do that after a long period of time. But yeah, really just figure out what works for you. Mess with materials, test print. Do whatever. Just figure out what works for you. If you find a material that works great for you, then that's great. But just know, as far as the majority of people goes, not everybody's going to have the same opinion about certain materials. There's going to be critics out there that say this material is bad because they had a bad experience. Do not take that into account. You need to test the material yourself. It depends on your machine. It depends on your settings. It also depends on what the material is. You need to test materials. It is so many people literally go online making these videos saying, oh, this material is bad, or this material is bad, or this and that, and blah, blah, blah. No, that is absolute bullcrap. You do not need to listen to those people. If a certain material doesn't work for someone, that's their problem, not yours. Find what works for you. That is the biggest thing I have to say and critique about. Find what works for you. There are so many materials to 3D print with out there. There's ABS, there's PLA, there's PETG, PETG, or PETG. And then there's TPU, there's rigid TPU, there's carbon fiber. Like, just find the material that works for you. And don't take into account what people are saying as far as the majority, not as far as their own opinion. People like myself will share their own personal experience, and that's okay. That is totally fine. But do not lie about a certain material or trust people about a certain material without testing it yourself. I cannot stress enough, guys. It is literally the most crucial thing ever that you test these materials for yourself. That way you find out what works and what doesn't work. Based on your machine, it may work, it may not work. It depends. I have an Ender 3. I have an Ender 3 back here that currently doesn't work, but I'm willing to put in the money and effort to get it fixed, get it working properly, and get it to the right level of working. Because having a second printer, guys, this first printer, you will not, like there's no way to separate from your first printer. It is literally the only thing that'll keep you going. This was my printer for the longest time before I got my Macs. This thing, literally next to nothing. I got it as a gift, and it has done wonders for me up until I stopped using it. Because the reason I stopped using it actually is because of the fact that I couldn't get it to work properly. It started to malfunction, and this is purely just my human error, not knowing how to use it. But anyway, the first printer, even if it doesn't work, just keep it as a trophy. That's what I'm doing here. I mean, if I can't get this to work with any sort of number of upgrades, I'm just going to keep it as a desk trophy. I mean, that's really about it. Just make sure that you test things before you go off saying, oh, this material doesn't work, do not use that. Just test them yourself. Do not do what other people say and just ignore it because so-and-so said that it doesn't work. You have to test things. You have to get through the rhythm of testing things. It will help you in the long run, and it will help you so drastically and make such a huge difference if you just test the materials. And find a machine that works for you before you go and buy a machine. Because keep in mind, 3D printers are hella expensive if you don't look for the right one. And make sure, sample size does matter here. Make sure you find a good working machine that the majority of people have given positive feedback on. Make sure you find a decent machine, a working printer that works for you, and make sure you test materials on it. It is so crucial that you do that. Because if you have the right machine, if you have the right settings, finding the right material is going to be an easy breeze. For example, my machine, or my system anyway, it does not like TPU, or in a way it's not used to it. So instead of using the remote print function, I have to use a flash drive. The flash drive that came with the printer, because these flash drives, if a material glitches your system, it's okay. Don't write it off as a glitch or anything. Just note that if a material like TPU doesn't work in your system, it will still download regardless. You just need a transfer drive, like a USB flash drive, like this, to transfer from your computer to your printer. All you have to do is plug it in, make sure it's reading, download the print, and then plug it into your printer. That's it. That's all you have to do. You plug it in, hit print, and it's done. But make sure you have your settings tuned in and dialed down, because that is the crucial thing. But anyway, that's going to be it for now. This video has already gone on for long enough. Stay tuned for more updates and informational videos. And I'll see you guys next time.